Hello, people. I am back with guests. Two new guests. They happen to be my brothers. Brothers, please introduce yourself.
Alright, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Mike. Nah, I'm just playing. It is Mikey here. CJ.
And they're gonna join me in Culture Shock. I'll probably name this Culture Shock, the superhero edition or family edition, whatever. But just know it's Culture Shock.
Oh yeah, before we start, spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen Endgame or the new X-Men, Dark Phoenix, don't watch this because we'll be talking about those things. If you haven't seen any of them, you can keep watching it. It doesn't. I'm not gonna, it's not a spoiler alert.
Right.
But I guess let's start with Avengers because it came out a while ago, over a month ago. And if you haven't seen it now, then that's your own fault. So I'll start with Mikey. What is your initial thoughts about
Endgame, when I first heard it was a 3-hour movie, I was thinking like, I don't know if I'm gonna sit through all this, but as I watched it, it kept me interested the whole time.
What do you rate it out of
10? Out of 10, I would give it an 8.5.
Why 8.5?
Because of what happened at the end of the movie, when Anthony Stark's life was trashed and taken.
Look, man, so check it, right? Mikey has this crush on Iron Man, you feel me? And it's not even like the character because there's a bunch of comics with Iron Man in them. But it's the fact that Robert Downey Jr. plays as Iron Man. He's like, bro, I grew up with him, like we was ride or die. And he started sobbing in the theater. I'm like, bro, it's just a movie.
I mean, yeah, unbiased, I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
Okay, so what do you think? What do you think?
My thoughts, man, look, I'm glad Spidey came back. That was expected. As far as like the storyline goes, it was pretty productive, I could tell that the producers thought about the whole storyline from 2012, when Avengers came out.
Probably before this.
Right. When the MCU started, I could tell they had a whole diagram of how it was going to go, otherwise known as the universe and how it progresses. I would also give it a 9 out of 10. 9.5.
I think I'm going to give it a 9.5. Not a 10 because it's just hard to have a perfect movie for me. But I'll give it a solid 9.5. I appreciate the storytelling a lot. I've seen it twice, both at the movie theaters. First time I saw it just as a fanboy, and the second time I went to go see it as a critic. But I mean the storytelling is just through and through. I've seen every single MCU movie in the movie theaters, and it's just been an amazing experience, and it feels like it's the end, hence the end game, but it's the beginning of a new chapter, and which excites even more people. So it's like, wow, the head honcho is not alive anymore, and well deserved applause. The acting was good. Some people didn't like Brie Larson's part, but that's not her fault. That's scripting and how they wanted to portray Captain Marvel as this alien / human / just like she doesn't care about anything except for the entire universe. Like she cares about Earth, but she has more important things to do, which makes sense.
They introduce a character with like bigger priorities than just the conflict.
Which I like. Like I also like how they start small. Iron Man is just they start so small, and then Captain America. I mean, it just like it progressively got bigger and bigger, and now we're out of space. Now we got raccoons talking and trees, and like starting from Iron Man to like where we are now has just been a great thing of exciting storytelling that a lot of people like us appreciate. People growing up watching these type of movies. Okay, now we're going to rank not all the MCU movies, but just the Avengers itself movie.
The Avengers franchise.
Yeah.
So not include Civil War, right? Basically,
I think we should. I think we should include the Civil War because
basically Avengers.
that's basically Avengers. That was a lazy way of saying Avengers 3.
And alright, so I already know which one's gonna be in the bottom. I already know. So I'm gonna start from the top.
So okay. Let's do 5 Avengers movies counting.
So, yeah, okay. So number 1, I would.
Yeah, start from 5.
Start 5. Okay, number 5. I'm gonna go with Civil War. And alright, I'm gonna keep going and I'm gonna explain after. So Civil War number 5. Number 4, I have Age of Ultron. Number 3, I have the original Avengers. Number 2, Infinity War. Number 1, Endgame. The reason I have Civil War so far down is because when you look at the comics and you see how massive Civil War was, and then you watch Civil War, it's like everybody underprepared. It's like 6 people on one side, 6 people on the other way, and Civil War was hundreds of superheroes and all of that.
If they were gonna do a Civil War type movie, they should have did it in Phase 4 when they introduced 20, 25, 30 characters, and they split it in between 2 different teams. Or whatever.
Like in my
pick a
opinion,
side.
the people they have for Endgame, it still might not be enough. Because Civil War just feels empty to me without the X-Men, Fantastic Four, but it could have worked out if they at least had more superheroes.
If you played Ultimate Alliance,
Ultimate Alliance.
like we did, so when we were at Civil War, we were like, oh yeah, so somebody gotta die or something's gonna happen, and Nick Fury plays a huge part, and he didn't play a huge part in Civil War.
In the plot itself, remember in the comics, I think it was a bus. Kids that got
Yeah,
at Stanford.
I feel like they got lazy.
Yeah,
And it was the woman SHIELD agent who really was like, superheroes are bad and they need to be controlled.
I don't think she was in the movie, was she?
No.
Barely. I don't ever see her.
Then check it out.
Okay,
Spider-Man
TJ.
didn't switch sides.
Okay, TJ, you got it.
Alright, so I agree with everything you just said. Noting that Civil War didn't have quite the storyline.
Okay, let's get off Civil War. Jumping.
If you have the right list, let me get your Avengers.
No, because and then I'll move on to the rest of the movies, but in the comics, I believe Spider-Man switched from Iron Man's side to Captain America's side.
And in a video game.
Right. So there was that I didn't like because they didn't really introduce. I mean, he wasn't supposed to have a formal introduction to Civil War, but at the same time, a lot more character development could have been in Civil War for Spider-Man and other characters introduced at that time.
So I guess you got a crush on Spider-Man.
No, that's not it.
You guys have the same relationship that Mikey has with Iron Man as he has with Spider-Man.
That's not true at all.
Anyway, keep going.
Strong relation. All right. So that's the 5th one. The 4th one, I would say, is the 2nd Avengers.
Age of Ultron.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I would say that. And then the 3rd one.
But you knocked my camera over, Pandora.
She was thinking about it. 3rd one is the original Avengers. Even though they didn't have Ant-Man and Wasp and some of the original Avengers.
This is my dog Pandora, who's interrupting everything, who's not supposed to be on the rug.
Hey,
get off.
Her YouTube channel and Twitter is going to be in the
Get off. Get off. Get off the rug.
Shout out to
She wants to be a center of attention. She wants to talk about
82
it.
times underscore 20. Wait.
Anyway,
Okay, I said 3rd
Why?
was 3rd was the original Avengers, and then the 4th one, the 2nd one on my list is Avengers Infinity War, and then the 1st one was
for me is number 5. The original Avengers. Number 4 is Civil War. Number 3, Age of Ultron, Infinity War. I say I'm very high on Age of Ultron just because the bad guy was just better.
Yeah.
And the emotion, we finally got emotionally connected to characters as in Avengers. It was great to see everybody together, which was just amazing. Like, it hasn't been that type of stuff in almost ever. But I feel like the bad guy in Avengers was meh. I mean, Loki is great. Don't get me wrong, Loki is great. He's a great actor. He's a great character. But how he lost, not gonna lie. How Hulk just picked him up and just started ragtagging him. It's great. I mean, it's great. But then that was the end of the movie, and I was just like, eh. But in the Age of Ultron, like, people died in the Age of Ultron. Even though we met that character in the same movie, we still end up having a little bit of emotional connection because he changed throughout the whole movie. Like, oh wow, he just died, but his sister is still alive, which they shouldn't have done. But that's another conversation.
That's why I had Age of Ultron. I believe I had it at number 4 because, I mean, when I also about the comics, I know it's not supposed to be completely accurate, but it's inspiration from, it's derived from. So when you read the comics, you see a bunch of people dying and all of that. So when I watch the movie and I only see Quicksilver die, which he probably should have stayed alive because he could have been good for the future of the MCU. But when he died, and the only person that died, like one of the Avengers probably did die, like Hawkeye, somebody could have died. But it just seems like it's forgotten because nobody really significant died in that movie. It just helps put on the fact that the Sokovia Accords were made so the Civil War could start.
Yeah, I mean, and I also I like Civil War because
Nobody knows.
I like I just like the different battles and the different characters that we were introduced. So I'm higher than Civil War than I am for Avengers, just because. And I love Infinity War. I love the ending. I love Thanos, and Endgame is just amazing. Can't be beat. I don't know if they even can top that movie, even if they tried. Or
especially with Iron Man and possibly Thor and Captain America. Well, Captain America's gone, and possibly Thor will be gone too.
No.
Yeah, Captain America.
Guardians in the Galaxy.
Well, he also resigned.
Thor did.
Yeah.
Oh well.
He signed his deal.
Captain America.
Because that money is serious, and he's younger than Chris Evans, and he's younger than Robert Downey Jr.
He's like 52.
I mean, he did his time. You know, he did what he's supposed to.
It's gonna be hard.
He made up $1 jillion. Yeah. So did Chris Evans, and they only continue to make more money. So let's get our initial thoughts. Mike, you can start first.
Okay, so Dark Phoenix.
And rate it out of 10.
All the other X-Men movies.
Rate this movie out of 10.
Oh, out of 10. Oh, yeah, you're right. So out of 10, I'll give this movie a 7.5. The reason why being, I feel like the movie was great and all, but first of all, the first thing I didn't like about it is most likely the last film of Sony. Costumes were terrible. They were awful.
The costumes.
The outfits were terrible. I didn't like it.
You talk about the X-Men costumes?
Yeah, they were awful. And then the other thing, this is the only two things I didn't like about it. The costumes were awful, and then the villain, like, I had no idea who she was. Phoenix, she played a big part in being a villain because, spoiler alert, she killed Mystique. And then, but the other villain, I had no idea who she was, and it didn't really seem X-Men like, in my opinion. But the reason I really liked the movie is because my favorite X-Men character, Nightcrawler, he went crazy. Everybody had a moment to shine, even people we've never seen before. Everybody had a specific moment where they could shine and do something incredible.
I do.
This movie, man. This was one of the. It was this one and Days of Future Past that were one of the better movies in the X-Men franchise. It was around the 8. You know, that's not so. I feel like I know. It would be around the 8. I would say. Like you said, there was we see a lot of character development, saw their way, how they shine. I really like how they define the plot because we can see the conflict between Hank Xavier and Magneto. We saw that a lot. So we saw that constant conflict between the originals because we saw in First Class they were like the original thinkers of the group, or like who created the X-Men. And I found it ironic how this is one of the first movies where, you know, Magneto, he's so like, he thinks he's so powerful and all that, but when he stands against this new enemy, you know, he doesn't know her for one, yet he wants to kill her. And yeah, he has like this weakness, and we can see the weakness in his eyes. So that also defines, that puts a new definition on Magneto as this brave yet feeble character almost. But I liked how they defined him.
Oh, one more thing I was gonna add on to that. What I was about to say was, the reason I actually might put it, oh no, yeah, I'll still keep it at 7.5. But one thing I really liked about it that I was struggling with the X-Men movies is this movie made the timeline more clear. Because I had no idea what was going on at first. After I saw Apocalypse, I was so confused. I was like, wait, so they just permanently went back? Like, what happened? So this timeline made it more clear to where they are right now. So that's what I liked about it.
I'll give this movie a 8.8. I mean,
88 overall.
yeah, I mean, because it's good. It's not as good as Days of Future Past, which is like a 9.6. In my opinion, that movie's just like, that movie's great. But this movie, a lot of people don't like it. A lot of critics don't like it. And honestly, some of these critics, number one, they just like movie. Like, they like script and all this stuff like that. But sometimes a movie like this is more than that, especially superhero movies. Superhero movies aren't known for the best acting or the best like plot, the greatest plot, but that movie's horrible. The CGI is the Green Lantern. The CGI just ruins that.
That's probably the worst.
I know y'all hear that all the time, but it's true. Like
yeah,
Ryan Reynolds himself, you know, in his latest movie, went back in time and killed himself when he saw him signing the papers for Green Lantern. So you can't tell me that was a good movie.
Right. But back to X-Men, I just feel like the action was great. We finally saw Professor X not be this all-powerful, like, god-like person. He actually has weaknesses. He's actually not perfect. Magneto was actually an actual good guy, in my opinion. I think he was, that's not the word, a more good or gooder person than Professor X in the movie. And honestly, I think Professor X, he really like what you don't get from the first trilogy is that Professor X, what he does can be skewed as wrong or right. It's just up to your opinion. And I feel like the Dark Phoenix, the acting was good.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do feel like the acting was not that bad. But I do agree with Mikey. The biggest problem of the movie is the villain. They really don't introduce what the heck those things are. And I feel like that's the biggest problem. They should have made the movie longer.
Let alone what they do.
The movie could have been another 20. The movie could have been another 25 minutes longer, 30 minutes longer, because it was only 2 hours, which is okay. But it could have been 2.5 hours to explain what the heck those things are and why they're trying to get this Dark Phoenix power and how come they didn't just grab the Dark Phoenix power while it was in space. You know what I mean? Like, that was weird. I know, like, if she could have controlled they also didn't explain if the woman couldn't control the power from the get-go. Because if she could have controlled the power, how come she didn't just control the power while the thing was in space? That part just irks me, and that's why.
I've never seen
that's why I went from an A to like a B. But everything else is fine. And also, I think the movie could have been without her. You know, they could have done without it. They could have just fought each other.
And that's my thing. That's why Days of Future Past was so good. First, gave a good plot. In the beginning, we saw a bunch of people getting killed. We were wondering why, right? Sentinels.
Now what we should do now is we should compare the first trilogy to the last 4 and like
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
right, yeah, we should rank all the movies.
Overall,
I was like, yeah, let's do like a battle.
Overall,
who's better, the first trilogy or this?
in my opinion, it's a no-brainer. It should win. The second trilogy is way better.
I think the second
Because like in the first
generation of X-Men.
The first trilogy, the villains were very repetitive. They were always the same. You already knew, oh, they're gonna fight Magneto in this movie. Oh, they're gonna fight Magneto again.
They fight Magneto in every single movie. Magneto and I think the
Brotherhood.
Yeah, I think a great thing about the X-Men is that unlike most superhero movies, America does not like superheroes and mutants. They don't like them at all. Unlike Iron Man, Captain America, Thor. Although they love, like humans love those people, but in X-Men they hate mutants. And I think that the first trilogy was just like, man, it was alright.
I didn't really.
I mean, it was.
Like most of those movies were forgotten.
Yeah.
For like the
More
first
forgotten.
exposure to the X-Men in live action, it was decent.
I mean, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're good movies. I mean, they're good movies to start on if you haven't seen.
Oh,
you haven't seen
I think it
one.
was The Last Stand. They
But
were
The Last Stand is not the best.
Yeah, because I remember at the beginning there was a practice. They were fighting a Sentinel.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's going to be good. Sentinels in the movie for the first time. And then later on, wasn't it Phoenix that were fighting? And then they fought. It was just very.
They went back to me.
Their villains are.
And then Cyclops died. That was stupid. Just kill Cyclops.
He died by a kiss. And I feel like nobody really got a chance to shine because they had Wolverine out there all the time. And he was always getting busy.
But I think in the X-Men they had more characters.
Yeah.
Than this trilogy.
The Iceman, did he ever really do anything?
No, but at least he was in there. And they had Rogue.
Yeah, they had Rogue.
And all those
That's
characters.
another thing I hated about those movies because Rogue was just she always irritated because it was about
Rogue.
oh I can't. You're right. She made it worse because she was taking people's powers, almost killing them. I was wow.
But I think the second one really turned into people instead of superheroes, because in the first trilogy you don't see the relationship between Magneto and Patrick Stewart. Who plays Professor X. I think if you're going to watch the X-Men, start with First Class and watch First Class, watch Days of Future Past, then watch the first two of the first trilogy, then watch Apocalypse, and then to finish it off, you can either watch X3 or Dark Phoenix, because they're really the same movie. Dark Phoenix is better, but that's because X3 was trash. So,
In my
It's
opinion, I
just
feel
like
like they should be two completely different times.
and I mean they are, because technically after Days of Future Past, they eliminate what happened in X3. But X1 and 2 still happen, but technically X1 and 2 don't happen until the 2000s, and the last of the first prequels or whatever happened in 1992.
So you say Days of Future Past should be?
No,
you said-
I'm telling you, Days of Future Past eliminated just X3, not X1 and 2. That's what I'm saying. Which, I mean, it makes sense, but they kind of, like, that's something you have to research on. Because
That's why I was mentioning.
They don't
their
explain it.
timeline is very confusing.
Yeah.
Steve died.
Yeah. And I like the Professor X is better, even though they're like kind of two different characters. The Magneto is way better. I ain't
Michael
gonna lie.
Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender played the guy. Even though McShane is a great actor, I'm not saying that, but I just like him better. Storm is Storm. Halle Berry is. I think they're tied. I think Halle Berry really did a great job with that character though, so it's kind of hard to come behind.
She's replacing.
I mean, in the first trilogy, Storm was pretty important in the first trilogy. And in the new one, it's just like Storm was like. But I am very glad that all the characters don't sound American. I think that's the best thing about this new. They all don't sound American. I mean, because Storm she's like Middle Eastern, like African, and Nightcrawler, I don't know where he's from.
Germany.
Buddy is
Oh.
Buddy is foreign. That's all you need to know.
Right.
He's
They're
Kurt
cool. They're cool.
Kurt Faulkner.
Also, another bad thing about Dark Phoenix, Quicksilver just like he got destroyed. And it's like
Yeah, that's why I understand.
Ah,
But let's think about regenerative abilities, right?
But right.
Fast healing?
Right.
I think that Quicksilver, if it weren't for him, then the X-Men trilogy be out of luck, because if you go back to, I think it was Apocalypse, wasn't it? When he saved, bro, that was one of the probably the best X-Men scene I've seen. When Quicksilver went back to get everybody out the mansion, and they played the music in the background. Sweet Dreams. Yeah,
Right.
that was amazing.
I think that also, I don't know. The movie was good. Should they bring back X-Men MCU? They will, along with the Fantastic Four. It's just a matter of time.
I feel like it's gonna be late.
When they could either do it right away, which they probably won't, because right now the MCU is in 2023 and these X-Men are in 1992. So that's literally 30 years, and they all be 50 years old if they come back now, which wouldn't make sense. So they're probably just gonna introduce. They're not going to do another origin story because it doesn't make sense to do that, because it's been done twice. So what they're probably going to do is just, here's the X-Men. There you go. If they do bring back a character, it'll be Professor X and Magneto.
Please bring back those two actors.
And everybody else can be replaced. Will Michael Fassbender be interested? I don't know, because he's also doing Assassin's Creed. It's all about money. You know, if the money's right, he might
What's
do
the
it.
name to do? But
But-
Professor X, I forgot.
James McAvoy. I think he'll do it again. No
Yeah,
problem.
he's fine with superhero movies.
I think he'll do it. It just depends. But they should I think they should bring those characters back
Everybody else.
just because they can look older. Because I mean, they already are older men. But if they introduce those characters right away, like say, because if you look at the Far From Home trailer, when Thanos snapped his fingers, he merged the multiverse. So like, that's why
That'd be so.
that's why Mysterio is in freaking Spider-Man.
That would be the opening.
So it's going to be interesting about what they do in Phase 4 if they're going to introduce the X-Men or not. They also, the New Mutants, that was supposed to come out this year.
Oh, please don't.
It's a possibility that can be the first X-Men movie under the MCU title.
I don't like how they're gonna make it like a scary movie. I don't like that.
I like it like that. That's cool. We get X-23 back.
No, but still, it's
That's
a
like
scary
X-23.
movie. And Marvel, come on.
It'll be rated R.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
And I mean, and we all know Deadpool is going to be under the MCU now, and he's going to be.
Ryan Reynolds, I think he confirmed that he's going to still play that.
Of course, he has to. It'll be like the movie should stop if he doesn't come back. And when he come back, they're going to introduce. They have to introduce the X-Men because they can't ignore the fact that he's affiliated. They just can't because they introduced it in the second one.
The two hardest things for them to do, number one is Fantastic Four perfecting it, because that, I don't know if it's possible.
They will because they perfected freaking the Guardians of the Galaxy and nobody even heard of it.
You're right. And then finding a
No, it's all about script acting and what it looks like.
perfecting Wolverine and stuff.
Tom Hardy should do it.
Tom Hardy.
Easily. Tom Hardy should do
I feel like it's gonna be hard for me to imagine.
Even though he is in Venom. But I mean,
Didn't they get Venom too?
no.
They didn't get Venom. Oh,
Well, actually, no. No, that's Sony. Sony still has.
right.
I don't know.
But I know that it's gonna be hard for me to imagine somebody other than Hugh Jackman.
I don't even know why they made that movie. I don't understand.
That shit
Unless
gets
he
raised
played,
above.
well, he in the next movie he's going to face Carnage. But
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. Venom without Spider-Man is just. Even though that movie was good to me, I really liked that movie. Should have been rated R though, but I did like that movie. But I'm excited to see if and when they bring in the X-Men in the MCU.
Alright, so now we gotta So yeah, basically all the, it doesn't matter for me in the order, maybe Last Stand is last week. All the first trilogies at the bottom. They can find the spot.
Last Stand.
They can find the last 3 spots. The best one, in my opinion,
Angels suck.
Apocalypse.
No,
Yeah, that was terrible.
Angel was weak.
Warren.
I do like Days. I will say Days of Future Past #1, and then Apocalypse. I feel like Apocalypse. No, I like Apocalypse second. And #3, I would put Dark Phoenix. It's not bad.
What about First Class?
Oh yeah, First Class.
Oh my god.
I wouldn't say Dark Phoenix is the worst one though. First Class was really good.
I like the
Villains.
All right, I'm gonna have a tie between Dark Phoenix and First Class. A tie.
Days of
First-
Future Past and Dark Phoenix.
I feel like, I don't know, I really like Days of Future Past, not only because it had Wolverine in it, and that's what Dark Phoenix missed was Wolverine, as Hugh Jackman. But he's retired from that role, so.
Yeah, Logan.
I think it's easily Days of Future Past. Dark Phoenix.
Because you see the less included,
Apocalypse.
when Wolverine is less
Or no,
included.
First Class and Apocalypse.
When Wolverine is less included in the next trilogy, the movies aren't as good. Because he's most included in Days of Future Past, and the movie's the best. And then Apocalypse
He was like the
very
big star.
slightly in there.
That was like another Wolverine movie.
And then like he had a cameo in Apocalypse and First Class. So those movies were okay. No Wolverine, meaning Dark Phoenix could be at the bottom.
And if you haven't seen any of the Wolverine movies,
Don't do it.
if you have to see one, see Logan.
Yeah.
And if you want to see another, see the second one. Don't even bother with the first.
That's
If you
something
wanna
else.
waste-
That's something else we need to talk about. The Logan series.
Don't even.
That's
If you
confusing.
want to waste an hour and 27
Don't even
minutes,
bother watching X-Men Origins because
watch
I
it.
love superhero movies, but that movie is type trash. Honestly, Gambit trash. Deadpool
Right.
was
I
trash.
really want Gambit to come back because he has so much potential to be cold.
Sabretooth, average. the people that he fought, trash.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it's important to watch to realize, like, wow, he really went through all this to get his claws and the reason and all that stuff.
The one movie I suggest, like probably the worst X-Men movie ever combined all of them is Wolverine 2.
Don't watch Wolverine. It's
You will fall asleep.
The action is so good, but it's
You
just
said the
like-
acting or the action?
The action,
Oh yeah.
because it's in Asia. It's
Yeah.
like we've never been over
Right.
here, and it's like yeah.
I feel like they just didn't really care because they had the other X-Men series going on. So they like,
But Logan, they did Logan right. That movie right there is probably one of the best acting. That movie was just.
yeah, but Wolverine 2 is the
Professor
worst.
X in that movie.
And that's another thing. It's gonna make timeline confusing. But watch it. Don't
But
pay close attention to the
that
first
movie
two.
isn't that movie like in 2050 or something?
I don't know.
That movie's like super.
2040.
Yeah, that movie's like super far in the future, and they did that on purpose so they won't confuse the timeline. Like it's not like 2018.
Okay,
It's super far in the future.
I feel like I don't know why time
Logan
travel
was old, and I still feel like
It's a reoccurring
Shit
thing with
with that.
superhero movies now. Time travel. Like
Yeah.
the Avengers did, now timeline's confusing because there was a plot hole saying, "Oh, why is Spider-Man and all of his classmates still in high school? Why?
I know.
Why are they still in high school?"
And if another big thing, and this is the last thing before we go, the last thing is when Captain America gave back the Soul Stone.
How?
Did he not realize that it was Red Skull? He didn't want to fight Red Skull. Anyway, so shouldn't Black Widow be alive because he returned the Soul Stone?
Yeah, how did he put the Space Stone in the Tesseract? How did he put the Mind Stone in the Scepter if it's broken? How did he put the Ether back? How did he put the Reality Stone back in Jane?
Maybe they put it in those.
That was lazy story writing.
Yeah,
Because they didn't have to. But anyway, so I still think Black Widow was dead.
Oh, something to look forward to with Marvel, the Disney Plus shows coming out. Marvel, something like that. They have like the Loki one, and that's another thing. Loki has the Tesseract, so something happened. He's gonna do something
crazy.
because he took the Tesseract teleport away. We don't know where he is. Probably gave it to Thanos. Probably just ran away. We don't know where he is. So either that's a plot hole, it's gonna be in
So that was
part.
2012, right? 2014 Thanos died, so it is
Right. So that means the events of Infinity War never happened.
question mark.
Probably not. We'll probably know more answers in the next coming years.
But if I know Marvel, I know they got it. They got it.
Yeah, they'll explain everything.
Oh, I can't think of a bad movie they made besides Thor.
The second Thor,
That wasn't terrible. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
Dark World.
It was pretty bad.
Didn't his mom die?
The third Thor is the best.
Yeah.
It's better than DC.
Anyway, before we get into that, we're just gonna wrap it up for this before it gets too long. Chase, you wanna say something? You over there doing the worm.
Get from the camera.
Chase, you wanna say something?
Yes.
What do you want to say before we go?
Yeah, go say something.
What do you want to say?
Go ahead.
What do you want to say?
Go ahead. Go say
You. Wow.
Okay, so
You gotta look at the camera. Talk to us. You gonna say something?
Minecraft.
Okay. Anyway, so we're gonna wrap it up. This is a Culture Shock Family Edition. Peace, love, and happiness. Goodbye.